It's going to take me a minute to get Glenn up on here. So, I don't know, take a dab, smoke a bowl, pop some shrooms, free your mind, do whatever you got to do. I'm working on getting Glenn here right now. So I'm doing that. Since it's posted, I know some YouTube people will hear at least the first part of this. Um, I just want to say, like, I think it's awesome. Finally, well, go ahead and subscribe first of all. We're like at 850 something, so we're getting there. Another 150 subscribers. I could live stream them pigs again. Um, trying to get Glenn in here still. But yeah, it's like this. We're building a little community on YouTube, and I appreciate that. And there's some wonderful, awesome people on there. The trolls are still there. The bootlickers are still there, but there's more people that like today. There was somebody that's actually out there filming the police, and they're we connected on the YouTube thing. I'm trying to get Glenn in here still. But yeah, I mean, people are asking questions. People are talking about filming the police. It's just more. It's more of a community. There's more communication going on other than you're a jobless idiot who, just whatever these people say. They always say the same crap. Um, Still trying to get Glenn. This thing is like ridiculous. I'm gonna try again. Add speakers. Yeah, but so yeah, just that was all to say thank you to everybody who's following and subscribing on YouTube. That's pretty awesome. And I like what we're building there, and I hope it keeps building on that. Come on, Glenn. I'm trying to get him in here so we can start the show. Um, I don't know why he's not letting me get his crap. So we're trying again. I have to invite him into the show, and then I can invite him as the host. So we'll try it again. Come on, Glenn, where are you at? I'm hoping everyone can hear me. That was an issue last week. Um, it looks like I'm picking up some kind of audio, but I'm not picking up Glenn. Ugh. See, I don't know what's going on with this. I can't seem to get Glenn on here. Let me see if I can tweet him. Oh wait, something happened. Glenn came in. Let me try to invite him now as a co-host. There it goes. Okay, yeah. So his invite has been sent. But yeah, once again, for anyone who's just coming in, just I appreciate everybody on the YouTube that's been subscribing and following lately, and joining in on the comments. Having a conversation is always good, and meeting more people around the country and world who film the police and deal with them. That's a super awesome thing too, and I really appreciate it. And I'm starting to love doing this, and I'm really excited about live streaming again. The last time I live streamed on YouTube, I had a machine gun pointed at me from a sheriff, told me to get off the block I live on, and I couldn't film him. And YouTube cut off they changed their whole policy. You need 1,000 subscribers to be able to live stream, and I had like 200 or 300 at the time. So I was like, damn. And they did it right at the worst possible time. So that really sucked. Come on, Glenn. So Glenn has been invited. I don't know what's going on with that. Um, I see a little picture of him up there. It says listener. I'm gonna try to invite him again. Add speaker. Canadian Glenn. Invite co-hosts. He's already been invited. Okay. So Glenn, if you can hear me in there, I saw your little hand wave. Um, you got to accept the invites, I guess. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't hear him yet. I don't know if he's in here. I don't know what's going on. He just left. So yeah, I'm not skilled enough to do this all by myself. And you know how some commentators can talk for an hour to themselves or to the audience. I'm not good at that. I could talk to myself when I'm not on the air, probably because I'm mental. But so let me re-invite Glenn again to all the people that will be listening. This really sucks. Um, I'm sending him another invite. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll have to cut some of this out. Me waiting on Glenn. That's the problem with this Twitter Spaces, as people might know. We used to be on Spreaker, and that had its own set of problems. But one of the problems wasn't that you couldn't start the show. I mean, you couldn't get everybody into the show before it started. Now I got to do that while I'm live. I see you again, Glenn. Oh, I hear you. There you are.
Jesus Christ.
Glenn type guy has accepted his co-host. You came in praying. That's nice. What was
Yeah.
happening? It just wouldn't let you in?
No,
Oh man.
it just froze.
My apologies.
No, whatever. It ain't your fault. Unless your name is Musk.
No, might be. I'm a billionaire, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to sell a Rolex for $2,700 today, but it was just a Casio or something. Because some doctor was all on the news today that he bought some Rolex and they sent them some fake sport watch, some cheap ass $100 sports watch. And the cool part about that was they're like, "What are you gonna do? Are you gonna sue them?" He's like, "No, it costs more money to hire a lawyer than to just lose the watch. I mean, just to lose the 27,000." I was like, "Man, I got to get in the scam business."
This shit was going on 40 years ago.
The what?
The same shit was going on 40 years ago. Selling fake
Oh yeah.
watches.
Oh, I used to do that when I was younger. We used to get bootleg ones and go to the casino and be like, "We lost all our money," and cats would be trying to get over on us because if it was a real watch, it'd be worth some thousands, like 2 or 3 thousand, but it was worth like $50, $40 downtown LA. But it had serial numbers and everything. They were good fakes. So they be trying to scam us like, "I'll give you 3 or 500 for that," and I'll be like, "Oh man, I know it's worth 2,500, but I need money here. Go ahead." Then go buy three more and do it again. But anyway, now before you came in, I was just talking to the fine people, the YouTube audience that'll be hearing this, just kind of saying I appreciate the subscribers and I'm excited to be live streaming again because it sucks that they cut me off. And I'm happy that the comments aren't filled with vitriol toward me. A bunch of bootlickers talking about calling me all kinds of gay slurs, and they call me gay slurs. I'm not gay. They call me a unemployed bum, quote unquote. That's their words, and I'm not unemployed. They, they tell me I'm scared. I'm never scared.
But it's
Someone
nothing
said
new, man.
someone said I was scared of this girl today on one of the comments that it flipped me off while I was filming. And I wasn't scared of nobody, man. I just left a party down the block with like 50 of my homies in there. There's a studio down another block down that got a bunch of my other homies in there. So I mean, I got Crips and Bloods both on 3 blocks radius. I wasn't. I was just being. I was trying to be nice, but I'm a dick at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm never worried about anything. If it's my time to go, I'm gonna go. That's what I don't give a fuck. But on with the show.
All right.
Oh, I'm just gonna say this, man. My level of professionalism cannot be paralleled, and I'm sure historically it has never been paralleled. I'm awesome at this. These shows are like the most professional thing anyone's ever heard. And if you don't
More or
think
less.
that's it, yeah, yeah. And if you don't think that's the case, you haven't heard a real professional show. That's my argument. I'm sticking with it. So yeah, I'm looking at the topics now. This is the most important one, in my opinion. First and foremost, that's what I put there. Summer is already here. It's extremely hot. It's going to get even hotter throughout the summer. Let's make sure we're taking care of our neighbors that don't have places to live, that got to live in that heat in the tents. Um, Try to find libraries or some place that have air conditioning that they could have access to. Let them know about that. Carry frozen bottles of cold water around. Give them out to people. Just do whatever you can do to make people suffer less. That's basically what I'm thinking is a good thing. If everybody does that, it's better than less. More is better than less, right? So I'm just throwing it out there to put that in people's minds. Like I got a case of water the other day. It cost me like $3 or $4. I know that's a lot for some people. And if you can't do that, that's fine. But if you can get some, even if you got 3 or 4 cold bottles with you, hand them out to people. Whatever you can do, do it. And if you can't do it, just show some love and compassion and talk to people and treat them like human and care about them. It doesn't cost a dime to care about somebody. And there's groups out there doing stuff. If you could help them, I'm kind of allergic to working with groups officially, but I work alongside with different people at different times. Um, it's funny how a non-group killed my working with groups. A group that wasn't a group pissed me off so much I don't want to work with groups anymore. But yeah, help the people, man. If you can, do whatever you can. Um, Team up, do whatever. Just get people cold water, get people to cool weather. Because as I put a video up of a lady named Miranda getting a bike from a police sweep, and that particular day it was really messed up because the police stole like all their property. She was in tears. They stole her bike. They stole a bunch of other stuff from her, threw it right in the trash truck. And then the stuff they didn't throw in the trash truck, they took to downtown, locked it in a locker. And then how is she supposed to get her stuff? You know what I mean? People actually went down there with her and got it. But the thing is, Miranda was a wonderful person. She had a little dog she carried around and a baby stroller all the time. And she would go get a lot of clothes for I don't know if they have this in Canada, but here in LA anyway, they got these big dumpster kind of things that open up for clothes donations to like Goodwill or whatever, and then they lock. So like you put the clothes in and they lock. So she would try to climb through the vent, the little door, because she was really tiny, and get these clothes and then take them and hand them out to everybody. And she do this a lot, but one time she went in and the door closed and something happened and she snapped her neck in there and died. And that's the thing. 3 people a day, maybe 4 people now. They're dying in LA every day because they can't get services, they can't get help. Nobody cares about them. They're forced to live on the street, and that's a terrible thing, you know. people dying for preventable reasons. And these are good people. These are, people that just don't have as much as some of us do. Um, so yeah, help them out if you can. Don't let more people die if you can help it.
Well, this is the issue with the level of desperation. I mean, it's been said in a lot of different times, in a lot of different situations. I mean, the more desperate people get, the more willing they are to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And as far as the thing about the donation bins that have the self-locking door, kind of the same thing happened here. Somebody did die in one of them. It was basically to, I think, just get out of the elements. And then they all disappeared for about a year. And they've just started putting them back out now, supposedly with some improved, you know, way for somebody to escape if they get in there or something. I don't know. But I mean, again, this is the thing. This has always been a thing. I find it hard to believe that the risk management has gotten to the point where, anybody who's designing these things knows this can happen. But, you know, what's the cost? Oh, yeah, we can absorb that cost, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, it's what's important and what's not is getting worse and worse all the time, obviously,
Most definitely, yeah.
and it's been happening for basically thousands of years. When shit goes really south on a whole demographic that it never happened to before, shit goes off the handle. And like we had in the topics, as is obvious already in the northern hemisphere, it's not even July yet, and we're seeing temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius, 120 Fahrenheit in a lot of places that we never used to. And is this coming home to roost? Yeah, well, sure it is. Yeah. Global
Yeah.
warming? Global warming? Nah, whatever. Lots of time. Lots of time. It's fucking here. And this is only
Yeah.
going to make it worse. I really understand what you're saying with the water and shade and stuff like that. I can't imagine what it's like in Southern California. You know?
I mean, there's places like Texas, Arizona. I can't even imagine how it's so hot in the summer in those places. Louisiana, there's places a lot, even just in the valley here. You go south, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean the valley or the desert. It's hotter than it is here in LA. But it's just we all got to do what we can, whatever we can, and it's not enough because the government's not doing jack shit for anybody. They don't care. They don't care. They'll let everybody die. Then that's look, I cleaned up the streets. The quote unquote undesirables aren't out there anymore. Um, it's so sad, man. Like you make people live like that, then you don't care if they live or die, and then it's up to the people to take care of them. And at the same time, you got people out there that want them to die just as. I mean, I've heard people say they should just burn those tents down. The police should just shoot it up one night.
Yep.
Get rid of those people. I mean, they don't care about these people. I
No.
see it when they're out there and people treat them like crap. And it's really frustrating. And I get into a lot of arguments and shit about that. I've gotten into some big little incidents over that kind of stuff. Big little incidents. That's the magic phrase of the day.
But
But
again,
anyway, yeah.
no, but I mean, this is all part of how this shit works. somebody who thinks that they are getting completely shit on, if there's one person who's got it worse to them, then that's the person they're gonna pick on. You know,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
there's got to be somebody that they think they're better than, and they're gonna make sure everybody else knows it too.
yeah. There's a lot of sick people in the world, man. I just put out a video. Y'all can watch the videos I'm talking about. I'm not gonna go too much details, but this NIMBY woman called the police on this houseless woman that was just sitting out under a tree trying to get shade in front of her apartment. And when you call the police on somebody for doing nothing wrong but existing, you're putting their life in danger. That's no different than swatting somebody, in
Yep.
my humble opinion. Because you bringing people with guns into the equation that aren't needed. I mean, so what if she's out there on a blanket with a couple bags of stuff? Is she really bothering you? It's just it's so, I've seen store owners kick people in the head for sleeping on their little. I talked about it on here before. I don't want to get into that. It's gonna piss me off with somebody I probably see again. But anyway, speaking of shit people, we can move on now. Take care of your house's neighbors, y'all. That's what that part was about. But some white lady on Twitter, I seen this on William FTP William. I was looking at his Twitter and I seen this morning. I sent you something, part of the thread, so you could look at it too. Some white lady bought right after George Floyd was murdered by the police and everything started heating up. Some racist ass white lady bought GeorgeFloyd.com, and that in itself isn't a problem. Well, the racist part is, but she portrayed herself as an activist that cared. And if you donate money to her website, you can it'll all go to the family. She was selling T-shirts, all kinds of stuff. George Floyd, just basically using his name, and none of the money went to the family. In fact, people put out stuff later. She's looking at this as a business idea because she had failed in like 3 or 4 businesses before. So she's like, "Oh, a black man was murdered by the police. Let me take his name and all that, and the hype that's going on and the outrage around it, and try to profiteer off this." And you
Yep.
know as well as I know, way back to the anonymous days, that groupless group that makes me not want to work with groups anymore. People used to do that, man. I mean, that's one of the things a lot of us said in anonymous back then. Don't ask nobody for money. Fund that shit yourself somehow. Figure it out. You got to steal something, do whatever you got to do. And if you do ask for money, you need to show receipts to every penny. That's why when somebody sent me $50 to give some homeless people stuff, I'm spending 100 of my own, 50 of my own. I'm gonna match it at least, and I'm gonna have the receipts, and I'm gonna say, "Look what I did." You know what I mean? Your
Yes.
money's not going to buy me some weed or whatever. Like, yeah. With me, it usually works the other way, but regardless, your money's not going to my luxuries. And
Well,
if I go ahead, I'm sorry, what?
no, I was just going to say, considering some of the past experiences that we may or may not have been closely related to as far as distance goes, but it sounds to me like this is just this woman who's trying to scam the memory of George Floyd. Her name wouldn't be Emmy, would it? Or Jackal? Does she go by Jackal? I don't know. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the great Yoranon news scam. And the reason I'm not getting a response is because I see Tim is muted. So I bet he's.
Oh shoot, I was talking and all that. Okay. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I was saying, I was like, no, she's not that sophisticated. She's just some dumb racist white woman. And if she believes herself to be not racist, then she shouldn't have tried to profit off a dead black dude's name, because that's pretty fucking racist, honestly, dude.
well,
Um,
like you said though, the thread that William put out today, the whole issue of the thread was this bitch wanted to use his name to promote her scam.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't know. I didn't see that part.
oh yeah, you got to read the whole thread. It's like, he was like, "Who the fuck are you?" type thing. And
Yeah.
then it was established, okay, so you're just a scam. But she actually asked him if she could put his name on her website and his social media account name on her website. Like,
Wow.
fuck off. Will you help me rip people off with your good reputation? Like,
I
that's,
gotta start remembering he's super well known because it's just a homie. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah,
I always forget. Like, dang, a lot of people know who he is, and like that's awesome because he deserves all the recognition. He does all the work, but it's
yeah.
just I forget that sometimes. I just be like FTP William, the homie. But yeah. So it's terrible you get to that level and people want to use you to do nefarious shit. That's not good.
Well, the
It's
thing
not.
that the thing that amazes me is to ask this question. You obviously have no idea who you're talking to. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna ask William if he will allow you to use his rep so you can scam people? Like, holy fuck. Like, what are you even doing here? Who let you in? You're too dumb to be on this floor of the building.
Yeah,
But
I
you,
was. He's
oh,
smart, dude. Because I was dumb back. With I'm not gonna say the person's name on here because that would hype up their account. But because he's back now. But yeah, there was a certain anonymous person, and they um they conned me into conning other people. They were like, my wife has cancer, she's dying, we're really struggling, and can you help post this? Push this because I had a huge account back then. Can you help me post this? I'm asking people with bigger accounts I'm desperate. I don't like asking. They did the whole nine. So I was like, yeah. And I started promoting it, like help the homie out, get his wife, the treatment she need. And then it finds out he's going on vacations and chilling and starting businesses with this money. And his wife don't have cancer. She works for him. He owns his own company. And yeah, he got wrecked because I knew some cool ass hackers that handled that for me. But once I found out, I shut it down. I told everybody, no, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But some damage was already done. And it just seems like people are always trying to scam people. But things like that, like saying somebody has cancer or George Floyd, things that tug on people's hearts, so they want to help. That's the dirtiest kind of stuff because you're taking people's good intentions and twisting them to profit off it. And that's never good, man. Those people should always get wrecked. They should get outed. They should get shut down, and we should be skeptical of them. Just like Sean King is another one. He's famous for that. For some reason, he keeps it going.
yeah.
The difference with him is he actually does some good in the mix while he's scamming. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I don't know. I mean, not good like he doesn't do good like giving anyone money. He does good like bringing attention to a situation.
if it helps him, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. But so yeah, just these people are scandalous out there, and I think it's sad and ridiculous. And I think the family should sue her for whatever she has, and get their money, whatever she made off that.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
That's dirty, man. I mean, I don't know where she's at. Is she in LA? Somebody could go deal with her. Have a bunch of people show up at her house, protest, lock her in, for a while. Make a big scene, let her neighbors know what kind of a scum she is. I don't mean harm her or anything. I mean, it's up to the people, but definitely make her life uncomfortable for a minute. So yeah, I guess we're gonna move on to the standard shit we talk about, cops.
What a
Unfortunately,
surprise.
I wish we didn't have to talk about them, man. But it's like every week there's something new with them. Every single week, it's just it's mind numbing. So anyway, I was talking about it a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even know they were gonna have a decision on this last week. But a lot of people might remember there was a guy in Hollywood. He had a lighter and a knife. The police killed him. They shot him up. Well, that murder was just ruled justified. And during that, everyone's like, let's see the body cam footage because he didn't have a gun. And they put a picture of a lighter up. Like it kind of looks like a gun if you held it from the right angle and the right way. These cops are 10 feet from him, 15 feet maybe. You know the difference between a lighter and a gun from that distance, man. Especially if he's already holding it out towards you, you've already seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as usual, when it's a shooting that shouldn't have been justified, the cops won't release the body cam footage. They'll hold it as long as they can, and they'll release sometimes a still shot from the body cam. This time, this particular one in Hollywood, they didn't even release a still from the body cam. They released a still from a building camera up kind of up to the right behind the guy, right? Because that's the one that looked most like the lighter he was holding out could have been looking like a gun. Um, and it's just dirty. And then you got a whole bunch of people that are like, oh, the police did so good. Thank you for keeping us safe. And I mean, what's the worst he was going to do? Was burn you? Get a lighter. And then you got the people like, well, he had a knife too. Well, yeah, we weren't talking about the knife. Talking about the lighter he was aiming at the police and got him shot. I don't even know if he was aiming at him. He was just holding it. You know what I mean? He could have been like, it's just a lighter, and they shot him. So yeah, these
Well,
cops are out of control. They justify everything, and then you got the news doing the propaganda. Um, they're already on the Burlington thing because they want to bring William Dorsey Jones Jr. back, and people I know will be. I mean, would you want to see that cop on the street? The one that shot the 14-year-old girl in the Burlington and the other guy? So they're
well,
like he took out they did a an autopsy on the man he murdered, the unarmed man he murdered, and it turned out he had crystal meth and weed in his system. So that's been all over the news. Like having crystal meth or weed in your system is the equivalent of having a gun on you shooting people up in a store. Go ahead, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. I think there's a delay.
no, but I mean, this is the dynamic that's been around since Nixon. People who do hard drugs deserve to die. That's the bottom fucking line. That's what they say without saying it out loud. And it's been since Nixon and the war on drugs. That's how it is. And it's always been the way out for the cops in American cities. Oh, dope. Hard dope. Yeah, fuck him. Guy's a criminal anyway. He's a lifer. Fuck him. And it's been done on TV, in movies, in books, in magazines for decades now. And they're never going to drop that one. It's always going to
Okay.
be there.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let's say you own a store. Let's say someone comes in the store with a gun and tries to rob you and shoots and you misses and you got your gun and you shoot him. You know what's going to happen as soon as the police come? They're going to test you, not the person that was shot. They might test them in the autopsy or whatever. They're going to test you for drugs and alcohol and all that. So how come these cops don't have to go get tested? Steroids and other stuff, you know? These cops are on a lot of drugs out here, dude.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna
but
tell me some of these cops don't have weed and alcohol in their system and cocaine and probably all kinds of. I mean, for a fact, we know some have crystal meth in their system. There was that whole shooting downtown with the cop shooting somebody over a crystal meth thing, and he was in the tent smoking it with them off duty. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, but you never heard, oh, the cop had crystal meth in his system.
Well, no,
No,
he's part of the club,
yeah, but
the
that's the
social
thing.
club.
Yeah,
No, but I mean, yeah, it's just again, it's just more in your face. This is just the LAPD saying, "Fuck you. We don't care. We're in charge. Nothing's going to change that. Get used to it." This is
yeah.
fascism. This is fucking fascism.
It's a
And there's a
police state, a
yeah,
fascist police state.
there's nobody who has the power to doing anything about it. So,
That's where you're wrong, Glenn. There is somebody that has the power to do a lot about it, and all those somebodies won't. I'm talking about the city council and the mayor and the governor. You know what I mean? The district
yep,
attorney. Um,
absolutely.
but more than that, there's somebody else. The problem with the somebody else is we don't have the numbers. Because if we had enough people, we could go out there and shut shit down and make a difference. And I know I say this every show, but that's what it's going to take. You got to shut everything down. You got to make it like COVID again. You can go somewhere where you're going to be sitting on the freeways because we're going to be out here blocking off every street, everything. Nothing's opening until we get our demands met. We want some equal rights. We want some justice, or y'all ain't going to be able to run your system the way you want.
Well, I think what the underlying thing is in American domestic policy as far as controlling the population goes, this is the same thing as when there was like 5 times as many nukes as there is now. You know, it was mutually assured destruction. And it's getting to the point now, especially now, since, supposedly COVID's over. So everything's open, and all the multinational corporations have decided that, hey, we missed 2 years of profits. We want it all, and we want it all fucking now.
Getting it. They've been getting it. They haven't stopped getting it.
Yeah, that's because they're being allowed to, again, by the same fucking people. But this is what they're saying. We can always make it worse on you, you know. So you either let the rich people get richer until maybe they get tired of it, or you do something. They're basically daring the population. At this point, what are you going to do about it?
Well, it's so divided, man.
And
Well,
that
actually, you
works
know
for
what?
them.
I'm thinking it's not. It's just the people hate each other because of a party, because they believe the same things. They all hate me. Um, Democrats and Republicans ain't friends of mine. They, um, so yeah, they all hate me and they hate each other, and I hate all of them. But they're the
Well,
bigger group. My group is much smaller. My non-group were people like me. So we don't have the power, and unless I'm not going to work with a bunch of fascists, then I used to say, sorry, I used to say the Democrats could be talked to. They want some of the same things and this and that, and they're just misled. But no, they're just fascist in disguise, and the mask is coming off real quick. So yeah, I mean, I mean, because I've heard Democrats be like, well, I mean, if America was attacked, I'd work alongside the Proud Boys to fight. I would never do that. I would never team up with Nazis. I don't care what the goal is, because our end goals are not the same. You can't do that.
well, that's just a completely misinformed fucking thing to say. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. But, whatever. I mean,
Well, to be fair, his thing was in the end we're all Americans. No,
oh, fuck off.
I'm just telling you. I just felt like I need to represent it right. But yeah, I don't agree with it. I'm just saying, there's no way in hell you want to say, oh yeah, There's a
Yeah,
bunch of
well,
fascists over here. Let's work together until we get what we want. Then we can fight each other. No, screw that. I'm never working with you.
yeah, well, what that guy said, I've heard that said like a long, long time ago now, and it was in German, and it was Ein Reich, ein Volk. There's one more word that goes with that phrase, but I mean, you know, one country, one people. That's what Hitler used. And what that guy said is just softball, same fucking thing.
Yeah, and that's a liberal saying that.
Exactly. This is the point it's gotten to. People have been conditioned on what explains what they want to feel. That's all it is. And, this is the thing. I mean, even up here in Canada now. So in the last week, like this is just a little bubble that just explains the same shit happening everywhere. Now, up here for the longest time, all the conservative political parties are the ones who always have women quitting, saying that it's toxic, it's this, it's that. The Premier of Alberta has a lawsuit against his office by a former staffer that's in the courts right now. So, of course, it made noise for a while, and then nobody cares. It's in court now. But in the last couple weeks, there's been a lot of staffers for the official opposition, which is the New Democrats, who, of course, all the right wingers like to call them socialists, but they're not. They're as center as it gets. But they've had issues with people coming out, and it's one or two executives in the party apparatus who's the big fucking asshole. That's the way it always works. It's somebody who's close to the top who gets a pass, who's a fucking asshole. That's the way it always is. But anyway, so now this party has the same stories, and now they're getting attacked, and people come to me and say, oh, what do you think? What do you think? I said, all this does is prove what I've always said. Parties are the fucking problem. They're all the same. The same shit goes on. The same people aspire to power. It's no different. And then nobody wants to talk to me because, oh, wait a minute, that means my team is shit. Fuck you. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's
Yeah, the other day, I don't know what I was. There was an argument going on Twitter. Some right wing dude jumped into it and start saying basically the United States isn't racist. Slavery didn't build anything, and capitalism is super awesome.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know. I would just sometimes you just be like, you know what, we're going in circles. I'm just going to end this, and when this person come with something new, I'll decide if I want to go back at them again because it's just exhausting. They're just trolls.
Yeah.
But so one of the replies was, even Bernie Sanders agrees with this. And I was like, my response was, fuck Bernie Sanders. Who cares what he says? But it's just funny because that for some people they'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. I gotta change my belief system because the guy who invented socialism believes the way I do. I think a lot of them believe Bernie Sanders created socialism. Um, but yeah, it's just ridiculous. So he's going to the other party that agrees with him on one thing, and the Democrats do it the other way. So it's just two factions of one big party. That's what we have here in the U.S., Glenn.
Yeah, but that's where it's been steered. And there
It's
was
it's
enough.
been it's been there for a long, 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 long time.
Huh.
It's just getting more there. It's been pretty
No,
soon. It's gonna
it's
be like, what's the difference? Am I just like you said, Coke or Pepsi, blue or red? It's just gonna be superficial things because the fundamental, the doctrine of both parties is gonna be exactly the same with just a little twist, and
yeah,
and it's pretty much where we're at now.
Yeah, it started like 50 years ago, and for most of those 50 years, there's been enough money to spread around that you get the right people and enough people from the right places to buy into the game. And now the game is expanding at a faster rate than we've seen before. You know? I mean, there's all these people who are suddenly showing up with big mouths, and they get rich pretty fast. But they sure as hell don't help anything. But they
Yeah.
get rich, you know? They get
Well,
rich.
this is basically the game. You got these big corporations that get welfare, they get bailouts, they get all this good stuff, they get low to no tax rates, and then they're kind of living off the backs of the people, a lot of
Yep,
whom are their workers too.
yep.
And then they donate to the political parties and their candidates, who in return be like, we need to tax them more. They're not paying their fair share. Wink, wink, wink. We got your back, man. It's just election time. I gotta spew this nonsense for the people to vote for me. Then I'll be back taking your money and filling your pockets. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's that's the game. It's always been the game as long as I can remember. Well, I guess Citizens United didn't hurt that game.
Well, it sealed the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's ludicrous, man. I don't get it. The people sit back and let this happen. They know it's happening. Why isn't stuff burning? Why isn't everything on fire? Why isn't everything shut down? It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's like, oh yeah, they're gonna keep beating me down and beating me down and beating me down and beating me down, and I'm just gonna like cheer them on. I'm gonna cheer my side on while they beat me down, and I'm gonna tell you, your side beating us down is the bad guy. I'm gonna demonize them and deify this one, and that's the game. They got
Yep.
all these people vote blue no matter who. The red wave's coming. Neither one of those are a good thing, and they don't get it.
Well, still, the issue is no matter how deep the divisions get, there's still nowhere near enough people that cast a vote to make anything legitimate. This is the problem. I mean, when you've got more than half the people who could at least demonstrate that they have a concern to use the only thing they have to make a comment on how their lives are being run, when more than half the people don't even bother to show up, if you're one of the people with the power, are you scared? No, you don't give a fuck. It's like, yeah, excellent. We'll just keep going. Fuck, we'll go faster. Maybe that'll get them to show up. No, still not showing up. Okay, turn it up.
Man,
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, yeah, I get it. The system don't work anymore the way it's designed. But
or maybe it's working exactly how it was designed.
no, it's working exactly how it's been engineered, how it's been steered. It's not how it started. Things change. The system should have changed, but it didn't. And that's why, the biggest countries in the world that are pushed as first world liberal democracies all have ridiculously non representative governments. The US, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and India. They all use the same fucking system. And, except for maybe New Zealand, nobody seems to be too happy on the street level. But that's the way the system works. And the people who spend their entire adult lives in the system certainly know how to get shit done.
Yeah, yeah. These people have been in the system. For somebody put on Twitter, why do you guys keep electing the same politician for 10 years straight? And I'm like, 10 years? You mean like 40, 50 years?
Yeah.
Man, Joe Biden's been a politician doing heinous, terrible, racist, monstrous things since before a whole bunch of people on Twitter and YouTube were alive, man. And most people on TikTok.
Yep.
Man, that wasn't a slam to anybody listening that watches TikTok a lot. That was just their demographic is younger than Joe Biden's been in office. Their primary demographic. That was all. Um,
Well, another way to look at that
disclaimer.
is no, another way to look at that is it doesn't matter what generation you're talking about, whether it's the Zoomers or the Millennials or the Xers or anybody, but it's a certain amount of people in a certain time period. Well, Biden was in the Senate longer than one of those generations. There's a
Yeah,
starting point. There's a starting point for people to get some relevance.
yeah, yeah. These people been in there forever, man. Forever. It's like, come on now. They've had their chance. They screwed it up. They screwed it up again. And then you reelected them. And they screwed it up some more and you reelected them. Because they're your guy, your party, your person, whatever, you know? That's stupid. That's not that's
All right,
I
let's
can't.
get back on. Let's get back
Oh yeah, we're
online
on a
here.
tangent.
Oh,
Okay,
big
so
time.
yeah, piggies. Well, let's move on to we just talked about the LAPD, the Uvalde police. You hear what's going on with them?
I
The,
just
the,
can't. I just can't believe anything out of there. I mean, considering this is Texas and what happened, I don't understand. Like they burned down a police station in fucking Minneapolis, and that place is still standing. I
yeah,
don't get it. I don't get it, man. Unbelievable. Like,
yeah. I don't know, but here's the thing. Here's what's going on for the people that don't know, and more stuff just happened today. So the Uvalde police are now going in front of a judge to try to seal the body cam footage so it will never be seen by the people. They definitely have something to hide. Some people, like myself, are speculating they might have done something like shoot a kid, kind of like LAPD did in the Burlington factory, and they don't want that seen. There's definitely something they're hiding because we know. And here's the other thing: the footage from the school cameras came out. Them cops was in there. They had the same rifles dude had. A bunch of SWAT team members had the same rifles and more. So they outgunned him. They outbodied armored him. They outnumbered him. They had more training, more experience, right? Right?
yep.
And they stood out there for almost an hour. I think it was 50 something minutes, just chilling, letting him do whatever he wanted to do. They didn't even try to get in the room. They didn't go so far as to even check to see if the door was unlocked to the room. And we know during that time, a bunch of other pigs were out there doing what? Tasing and beating and fighting the parents, cuffing up the parents for yelling about their inaction. So, yeah, they don't want this body camera footage out. Secondly, today, they're in court in a public building. Journalists show up and they got cops all out there kicking out all the journalists. All the parents are getting kicked out. And you know why? Because they feel threatened when there's journalists in the room in a public building. A guy
See,
said,
this
"This
is
is a public building. You can't kick me out." He goes, "Yes, I can, unless you want to pay a water bill or something." I guess maybe they have, a water, public water utilities thing they pay there or something, a payment center. I don't know. I didn't know to take that if it meant like they pay water bills there or if he was like, unless you pay the bills here, this ain't your place. You got to go. Because if that was the case, I'd been like, my taxes pay the water bill, so I'm gonna stay. But yeah, I didn't get the context of what he said about the water bill. So I'm assuming it's one of those two options. Either in that building, people that live around there could pay their water bills, or he was saying, "You ain't paid the water bill here, you gotta go." So I don't know.
This is exactly why I question how that police station is still standing.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really
Well, I
don't.
don't know. I don't
I
know. You gotta think. Yeah, I mean, you would think with all those parents that just lost their kids, I don't know, because there was teachers and parents that were on some propaganda tour talking about we don't blame anyone but the shooter. We just blame the shooter. People blaming the police are wrong. That's terrible. They're here to protect us and blah 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 blah. They had these two women on like all the news stations a couple weeks ago doing that whole routine. So yeah, more. I mean, this whole thing is about propaganda, basically what we've been talking about before the huge tangent.
no, but
Um,
the thing about this in Uvalde, I mean, I try and relate it to what I do, and to me, this is like you've got a high voltage team with every tool that they possibly need, and there's a bunch of apprentices inside a transformer vault, and the place is lighting up. Anybody who moves is getting electrocuted. And the high voltage team is just going to hang out outside for, a while. Is the door open? I don't know. Whatever. Well, maybe, they'll turn it off at the utility or something. Whatever. We'll just hang out. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me in my world. You are letting people die. Even
you
though
know
you
what the
can
diff?
stop it, even though you have the tools to stop it, even though you have the training to stop it, even though you are there at that point in time being paid to stop it, you don't.
The difference is the electricians would be held accountable, and some might even go to prison or definitely be fired for that.
Yeah,
The cops will
because
be rewarded, given bonuses, and
no, it's
promoted.
just nobody will ever know what really happened. That's that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
that's
said
just
that
it. Yeah,
before.
I mean, the electricians union is strong, but it ain't no cop union. Yeah.
Imagine a gangbanger goes up, I mean, a regular non-state sponsored gangbanger goes and shoots somebody up, and then calls all his homies to come down there and get all the footage from all the cameras, pick up all the shell casings, talk to all the witnesses, be like, yeah, that's not what happened, is it? Tell us how it happened, and they got the guns right there. And then go to court and all the judges are on their side and all the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be like Colombia in the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically.
Yep.
But you'd be like, yeah, that's exactly though. But you'd be like, these are bigger than a gang. These are like some cartel mafia, big time because you know what I'm saying? They got all this power.
Yep.
But when the police do it, they be like, yep, there's my tax dollars in action. So yeah, on the brighter side of things, um, some cops were shot out here in California, in LA. I mean, El Monte in LA. One was a highway patrol pig. He was shot and he lived. That's what I heard. Um, if he didn't, let me know. We'll celebrate. And two El Monte pigs were shot and they both died. But this is the thing. They had people on every major media all over everywhere crying, mourning. The whole city's getting grief counseling. If you want, come to these places. Two dead cops. Um, they had a parade of the bodies to the medical place with all the cops lined up saluting. I mean, these are our tax dollars. They are on the clock doing this, and they had this big hundreds of people showed up at the police station with all the cops' families to hold up pictures, and they all had Blue Lives Murder flag or Matter flags or whatever it is, and all this pro propaganda stuff, and they had all these people speaking about the dead pigs and blah blah blah. And then I hear, you know what I heard today? There was a shooting. Another cop got shot in another state, though. I don't remember where. I just heard the tail end of it. So they said four people got shot. Two of them were juveniles. The juvenile died. A cop was also shot, but it turns out they're going to be okay. So that led me to start thinking, how many civilians in the United States? I know different countries probably have a different number. It's all bad though. But in the United States, how many civilians is one cop's life worth?
Well,
Like,
that would
I, I,
depend on the city.
well, here's the thing. I guesstimated it would be, I don't know, at least 12 to 15. But somebody else I was talking to said it's a million because there's a million dead people from COVID, died from COVID, and nobody cares, and the cops don't. That nobody trips on the cops. So yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
no, I think you're using the wrong measurement here. You can't measure it on number of lives. There's a net worth total, like maybe $20 million. So however many people can fit in that $20 million. If you kill one rich guy, well, that's too much. You got to go. But if you kill a couple hundred that maybe make 15 grand a year, that's no problem. You're still good. I think that's the measurement. It's about how much money the people you kill have. I think that's the difference, which is sad, but
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Because especially in a place like LA, these fuckers kill people who have nothing all the time. Nothing
I'm
ever
just saying.
happens.
I'm just saying the cops killed that little girl. The cops killed unarmed people over and over again. And yeah, there's outrage from a small group of us, but then you have the more people be like, oh, thank you for keeping us safe, and for the most part, there's a few instances a lot more people get upset when it's really really super in their face, blatant, and it just can't be ignored. But it's just the whole thing is like, oh, that's all you hear on the news. You didn't hear the cops murdered a 14-year-old girl. This poor girl, she was trying to do this with her life and this and that, and her family's devastated, and all this and that. The cops just shut up, like, oh, she was in the. He had no way of knowing she was there. It was a total accident, our bad. Not even our bad. It's just act of God.
Yeah, there's no need to
Let's
explain it.
let's look at the guy that caused it, the unarmed man we were trying to murder. If he wasn't in front of that dressing room, we wouldn't have had to shoot him after being told, back up, don't go in, trigger happy asshole. But
You know, and the thing is, every bullshit propaganda TV show and movie you've ever seen, where there's the big superhero cop going through the shooting contest. If you shoot the woman with the baby, if you shoot the white dad instead of the bad guy, that's it. You're out of the contest. Well, I guess that doesn't happen in real life.
I, if I was the training instructor in that situation, I'd be like, when in doubt, shoot your partner. um,
And then yourself.
and then yourself, yeah, because you'll be going away for the partner thing. So yeah, okay. So this brings us. This is a good little segue to the next segment, right? Um, Now all these cops, when the cop dies, we just said they're worth so much. It's like the saddest thing, right? they catch the guy immediately, or woman, whoever shot the cop. They're gonna hunt them down. They're gonna be on a revenge trip. They're not gonna let that go unanswered. It's not like a normal person, right? It's not like a civilian. This is a cop. It's a higher. It's almost like a god to them. So they mourn and they're all over the news, and cops are crying and they're hugging, and they got the families and donation funds to the families of these guys that make a hundred and something $1,000 a year.
Yep.
Um, all this garbage. So now we talked about this specific. I started a troll hashtag and I'm proud of it. So that's why I'm bringing this up. It is justice for Houston tipping. Um, I'm starting to ask cops about that in the street. Like, when will Houston tipping see justice? Because that's what's funny. There's one cop that got killed, and none of them say anything about it. They had a real quick little. This guy was a great cop, died in the line of duty, an accident. Another cop murdered him, trying to do some George Floyd style thing in a training. So they were training to do something that could kill people, and they oops accidentally did it too rough and killed another cop. But they don't name the cop they killed him. They don't want to talk about it. It's just, you know what I mean? It's not major media coverage on it. It's almost as if this particular cop's life isn't as valuable as all the other ones that die in the line of duty, in car accidents and COVID and whatever other reasons they die from.
So what's the story on him? Does anybody know?
He was in a training exercise of choking somebody out, and I guess he got fatally injured and died like the next day from it or something. Like he
Yeah,
snapped
but
his neck or something.
who is the guy who's dead? What kind of cop was he? Did he make noise? Was he like maybe not on the team?
Oh, like maybe he was suing him or something. I don't know.
Well, not
I did,
necessarily
I did,
that,
I did
but
think about that. Yeah, like maybe he was gonna snitch or something to save himself. I
exactly.
don't know. Yeah.
That'd be the first thing I'd be looking at. And if it's fucking not being talked about anywhere, that seems
I mean, it's just brief,
likely.
but where are the tears? Where's the 200 people out there saying he shouldn't have died? We want justice. Let's arrest the guy that killed him, at least on a manslaughter charge, right? I mean, there was a little kid in maybe Detroit or something years ago, um, and he was wrestling with another kid, his cousin or sister or something, and he put her in a headlock and he did like a body slam, like some WWF stuff. And they tried to get this kid with murder charges, manslaughter charges. And he was like a little, like 13, 14 years old. And she was like a lot, yeah, she was like seven or so, like, but it wasn't like he's like, I'm gonna hurt her. He was doing wrestling. And that's less than somebody purposefully trying to brutalize somebody so they could practice to do it even more harsh on civilians. I think they should be arrested and give them manslaughter charges. Where's Gascon on this? Isn't
Yeah.
that what they always say? Where is Gascon? Where is he with William Dorsey Jones Jr.? Where is he with all this? These cops should be coming up on charges.
Yep.
I should have done that. Next time I see one of those recall booths, I only seen one, but I didn't. Yeah, um, I'm not big on. I'm not gonna fight for a politician either way. Um, but the thing is, I should have went over there and been like, yeah, man, I'll sign your petition. I could have wrote any name on it. I don't vote either way. And been like, because this guy doesn't arrest cops when they murder people. I bet you he changes tune. Like, wait a minute, what? Because those people love cops.
They
Cops
love
get,
who they're told to love. That's it. That's the bottom line
well, that happens to be cops for a lot of these people.
for the most part. Unless, it's. not the right kind of cop.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, anyone listening, feel free to steal my hashtag justice for Houston tipping and troll some cops. Say, when will this guy get justice? How come his murderer hasn't been arrested?
I bet there's
Manslaughter
video.
charges. Probably, yeah. But it was training, so they'll definitely say, yeah, those police yards, there's videos everywhere, right? I mean,
Well,
cameras everywhere.
where's the fucking media down there? Isn't anybody on his widow's front porch? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
really?
almost it's almost like his blue life didn't matter for some reason. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't know.
somebody's going to be getting a good pile of money out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what the fuck? You know, this is even dumber than their flat out murder of innocent civilians. This is them killing each other in their fucking gym. Like, what are you idiots doing?
Yeah, and I love it. I wish there was more of that. I'm just playing around. It's like a joke to me to do the hashtag because, you know, why would I stand up for a cop? It's because another cop killed him. If we arrest that cop, we got two cops off the street, you see?
I just think it could be capitalized on with the right way of going about it to say, not only are they murderers, they're fucking idiots. Look at
Yeah.
this. You know? I mean, if people aren't moved by them killing the poors, then maybe this is another angle to get people against them. But, you
Yeah.
know, that sounds like, yeah, it could be embarrassing, so we better not cover that. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. We got about 20 more minutes. If that's cool with you.
You're the producer.
I mean, we bitched about the police long enough, maybe. Or, I mean, there's never really long enough, but for today's show purposes. So, yeah, the Pride was going on this last month, a couple of weekends. Juneteenth was celebrated yesterday. Um, and over the past, I don't know how many years, they have um, library readings by drag queens. So, like, if you're lucky, you go in and RuPaul's gonna read your kids a story. Um, but lately, there's been a bunch of Nazi fascist religious zealots showing up to these things, sometimes armed, always loud and obnoxious and threatening, meant to intimidate people. I mean, they've been doing this at school board meetings more and more for a while too. Um, Screaming about grooming and all their weird stuff. But they don't go after the Catholic Church. They don't go after the Southern Baptists. They don't go after the Boy Scouts. We're gonna go after an imaginary boogeyman. Um,
Uh,
but
well,
okay,
this is it. I saw this mentioned pretty early on. I mean, you know, it might just be me, but I can't recall any any cases of molestation or sexual assault at a drag queen event. But I'm pretty sure I've heard of maybe 100,000 that happened at church.
at
So,
least. And there's a
so
lot of churches, a
yeah,
lot of denominations.
just that I've heard about. So, this is just so ridiculous. I mean, this is the weakest, the softest target they think they can find. That's why there's such tough guys. For
Yeah,
every gang of incel white clowns like this, think about the video from Coeur d'Alene where those 31 idiots in that U-Haul all came out of that truck and got down on the ground with ARs pointed at them. Not a fucking word. Sheep, every one of them.
And then
That's,
they got doxxed by the people, and then they doxed the cops. So win-win.
yep.
Um, but no, let's talk about that truck. One of the people in there, one of the Nazis that was arrested with the Patriot Front in that truck, going to assault people at a pride event for gay people, was himself arrested for domestic violence for beating his Latino boyfriend. That blew my mind. Like, I can understand self-loathing, whatever, but this guy's going to attack people that are literally just like him, minus the Nazi views, for being just like him.
Yeah, but he's doing it with that group because that's the only place he
I wonder,
feels,
I
whatever.
wonder, I wonder what that group's gonna say now that all this information's out.
Oh, I think they're kind of done with him.
I just don't get it. Why would you want to ever, ever, ever do anything with or like a Nazi would? It's just, especially if you happen to be a person that the Nazis hate. Wouldn't you think fighting them is better against them rather than with them? It just blows my mind. Like, wow.
Yeah, but there's always one in the crowd, man. I mean, it's just like in the death camps. Who the fuck would want to be a capo?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There's always one. There's
But
always a sellout. There's always somebody who thinks they can get around it and they're going to figure it out.
there's a huge difference between like a house slave or a capo or whatever. You had the threat of violence and death and brutality and just a bunch of terrible things over your head that people could do on a whim because you're not even considered a human being in those situations, where this guy is living his life doing whatever he wants, maybe even playing on a PlayStation 5, and he decides he's going to go and jump in a truck with a bunch of Nazis to beat up a bunch of other gay people, and he's a gay person.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That
I
dude
don't know.
just needs to be beaten.
I have no idea what the deal is.
It's just so insane.
But I mean, there you go. I mean, that's that's fascism in a nutshell.
I guess it's no different than Andy Ngo or Candace Owens or any of these other people, Glenn
Yep,
Greenwald. Yeah, yeah. It's just he was taking
definitely.
it to a violent level. They take it to a let's tell other people to cause violence level and
Well,
sit back and profit off
it's just like the silicon rod almost killed me. Like, fuck
it.
off, man.
That's the best, dude.
It is. It's hilarious. But I mean,
Oh,
I mean, that's what I mean about this thing in Coeur d'Alene, too. These guys are faced with actual real force. They're all pussies.
I wish I could do a little animation of that guy with his face on a little body dancing till my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. But the picture for the face has to be use the milkshake picture where he got hit. That would be funny.
It's just like, look how much steam Richard Spencer had. And then that one video, seconds long, of him getting punched in the face. And that was it. His bubble was burst. He was
But
over.
he's still going around. He still has a
Yeah, but
following
he
though.
yeah, but he ain't in the news stream anymore.
But he's still a threat. That's what people need to understand. He's
But
just
that's
not
all
a
it but that's all it took to stop his acceleration into
yeah,
mainstream. That's all it took.
yeah, that's true. Because they were like loving him on all the stations.
Yep,
Like, let's interview the Nazi Richard Spencer. That'll cause controversy and bring us views and get us those advertising dollars
because that's the only reason we're
and all
here.
those clicks. Yeah, yeah.
Oh well. But, is what's going to happen? I mean, well, if nobody does anything, it'll just keep going. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing ever levels off anymore. There's no money in that. The market must expand. Turn it
Yeah.
up, turn it up, turn it up. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, still, I don't know how many times I've said it on this show. America used to make things. Now America makes things up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ariana Huffington.
You know, off of that topic for a minute, last week's show's gonna go up today because I forgot to put it up.
Oops.
I just thought I'd throw that out there for anybody, because I'm sure there's like 8 or 9 billion people, maybe 13 billion people right now trying to see where's last week's show,
Oh, yeah.
and they're not on Twitter, they're on YouTube. So yeah,
Sounds
it'll
like
be up.
sounds like Trump math.
Yeah, we have a lot of listeners that have 3 or 4 accounts.
And they have to listen to it on every one.
Of course, that's what you call support. So
Yeah,
yeah,
got that right.
yeah, we got like 8 or 9 minutes left. I want to talk about. I'm here. This is what I was reading on a couple of things. That the fastest trucker convoy is coming back to what was it, Ottawa or
Yeah.
somewhere in Canada. I think they were going back to Ottawa, but I'm not sure. I kind of browsed through it, and then that was like a week ago. So
Well,
is that starting back up?
well, they're making a whole shitload of noise about it, and of course they're trying to raise money. Nobody knows who's getting it or where it's going. But yeah, I mean, these sissies are just going to keep at it now. I mean, everything they said they were protesting is gone, but they're still going, and they think they're going to get away with it. It's I hate to disappoint them, but it ain't going to be like last time. I'll tell you that. And I mean, I was one of the people when Ottawa was being occupied. I was like, if I lived in one of those apartment buildings, I would have been throwing shit down on those guys the first night they were there. I mean, forget it. Just
Some
that's it.
7.62 rounds? Oh wait, that's Canada. Never mind.
You know, because I mean, it was winter. So I would be filling up balloons with milk and dropping them down there because frozen milk is a real bitch to get off your windows.
I don't want to know why you know that, Glenn.
No, that's not important. But, I mean, the people of Ottawa were, I think, shocked, and then it was too late. And they just couldn't believe what was happening. And a lot of them were intimidated. I mean, Ottawa is not a very upbeat place, more or less. It's a pretty sleepy national capital. Like, think about, The Hague or someplace like that. This is where government sits, this is where the buildings are, but it's not a huge city and it ain't wild, and it never has been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for all these idiots to show up, and then, of course, they thought the cops would deal with it, and they didn't. That's the last thing they did. So,
Was it was it
it's,
was it like here? Is it like here where the cops are like? Because I've seen the cops smiling and shaking people's hands during the one here. The cops are
yeah,
all cool with them.
yeah, there were far too many police that encouraged it, actually helped it. Um, there have been, there's still a lot more people to go to court yet. Some people have been through court. Some of them got released with time served, which was over 100 days. Some of them got 6 months. Some of them got some fair sized fines. All of them have been banned from coming back to fucking Ottawa. So, they think they're just going to roll in. It ain't going to go down. And the thing is, our parliament buildings is basically like, how the Capitol has everything under one roof? We don't anymore because we're on a 10-year renovation for center block of Parliament. So
Well,
basic where everybody traditionally goes for Canada Day is on the lawn in front of center block. Well, half that lawn is gone. It's dug up. It ain't there. They're moving the whole Canada Day thing down the fucking street a few blocks. So none of this makes any sense. But, again, it's like if somebody else will pay them to do it, that will probably never know who it is, there's enough idiots who will do it, whatever.
yeah, I'm just, you know, they better really fundraise right now because gas prices are going up. They're gonna be like $7 a gallon here soon, man. And these people are like, oh, maybe y'all should get electric cars then. What's wrong with you?
Well, see, this is what's so funny, because this supposedly has started in Vancouver last weekend. This last weekend, it started from Vancouver. Well, Vancouver to Ottawa is equivalent of going from Los Angeles to Philadelphia driving. So, what's that going to cost? Where's this money coming from? Nobody wants to talk about that.
I'm just saying, with the money they pay for LAPD every year, they could just start having an electric car, electric bike, electric scooter, kind of whatever fits your best needs, kind of handout thing to people, right? So people could get around. If they, because I mean, you got all these politicians and media people like just buy an electric car. Electric cars are some of the most expensive cars out there.
Well, yeah, that's why they want you to buy them.
But okay, yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to buy them, especially with gas prices, but can't what afford them. Some people are living in their gas powered cars. How are they going to afford an electric car? I mean, come on, man. It's just it's stupid and it's ignorant. They should if they're gonna say something like that, they should have a system where people could start trading in their cars. I mean,
Oh,
trading
no,
your
no, no.
car will give you an electric car for if a percentage of how much you make or something, a tiny little nothing, because your tax dollars are awesome, and we don't have police anymore to have to give $8 billion a day to. See, that would be smart.
Yeah, but you've got the roles wrong here. It's like these people, they just say stuff. You want solutions? Pff, that's not their fucking problem. That's somebody else.
Yeah, what you telling a country where over 40% of the people are one paycheck away from houselessness and extreme poverty to go buy a car if you don't like the high gas prices? Because there's no way we're going to tell these oil executives to stop price gouging you. We're just going to
Exactly.
make excuses for them and put them on the news looking like the victims of something. It's
Let's see.
ridiculous.
Let's see. There you go. In the House, the Democrats put a bill forward that would stop price gouging of gasoline. Every Republican voted no. So there you go. I mean,
I suspected that the Democrats knew this was going to happen, and that's why they put it out.
it doesn't
Like,
matter. This is a chance where both waves of the same team, if they gave a fuck, could have done something. And they don't.
yeah, but I'm just saying. Think of this is what I thought when I heard the same story. I read about it. This is what I thought happened. The Democrats know there's no way this is going to pass, so we're all going to be good. But it's going to make us look awesome for trying to put it through and voting for it.
That is a reality. But the point is, it's that easy if they want to do it. It's that fucking easy.
Yeah, but they don't want to do it. Neither party wanted that to happen.
Exactly. They're in it for the corporations.
Yep, and themselves
Citizens
maybe.
United. Yeah, Citizens United.
So yeah, oh man, we probably should wrap it up soon.
All right.
Did we miss anything? We had some cool tangents today. I like that.
Well,
Anything else?
no, I don't think so. I'm good.
Cool, cool. All right, man. Until next week. And thank you to all the billions of people who have and will listen in the future. And last week's show will be up sometime tonight. So my apologies. I forgot. All right, let me find the end button and we're out.